thing here doesn't make the altar powerful. There is something that makes the altar so powerful. For instance, let me give you reasons why a church's altar is powerful. Number one, the lifestyle of the pastor. That is why you need to pray for your pastor. When a pastor is living right with God, his altar becomes very powerful. Because the pastor himself is an altar. For those of you who are not aware, when you bless a man of God himself is an altar. So when you bless him, you are actually putting an altar sacrifice based on his lifestyle. Number two, when the singers of the church are also living right. One of the most attacked areas of the church is the singers. That's why you have all sort of things happening in the choir. And when they live right for God, the third is the prayer department. These are the three pillars of the church that makes an altar powerful. Because there is always an invisible voice that speaks on the altar. An altar is a place of slaughter. When you go to an abattoir where they slaughter meat, the only thing you see there is blood. Blood. So everything that comes on the altar dies on the altar. So anytime you come to church and you place an offering upon the altar, whatever you put on the altar dies on the altar. Because it's a sacrifice. It dies on the altar. Go to Genesis 4:4. Go to Genesis 4 verse 4. Let me show you something. It talks about two brothers, Cain and Abel. Now, and Abel also brought of the firstborn of his flock and of their fat, and the Lord respected Abel and his offering. In the verse 5, go to verse 5. But he did not respect Cain and his offering, and Cain was very angry and his countenance fell. So the Lord said to Cain, why are you angry? And why has that countenance failed? Now go to the next one, 7, quickly. If you had done well, will it not be accepted? And if you do not do well, sin lieth at the door. Now, the long and short of the story is that eventually Cain went ahead to kill the brother Abel out of jealousy. I fear people who understand the principle of sacrifice. Do you know that most of the noises we make in the name of prayer, which is good, half of our prayers can be solved with a sacrifice? I fear people who know and understand what is called sacrifice. I fear them. A typical example was Hannah. The Bible said when Hannah prayed and prayed, nothing happened. The prophet was not moved until she negotiated with God and said, give me a son, I'll give you a prophet. A sacrifice was placed on the altar, and the Lord immediately spoke to the prophet and said, go tell her a year by this time. Ladies and gentlemen, fear people who understand the concept of sacrifice. When somebody has an issue against you, a case against you, sometimes he doesn't need to pray long prayers. All he needs is to bring his sacrifice and lay it at the altar and say, I bring this sister before you, God. And that is it. You are finished. Cain killed the brother. Go to the portion where the Lord came to the garden and asked, where is thy brother? Can you go there for me? Cain killed the brother Abel, and he thought that, oh, I'm done with my brother. I've killed him. Nobody will know. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. Blood does not die. Blood. There is no price that blood cannot pay for. There is no price. There is nothing that blood cannot be used to exchange. I'm telling you today. When you go to my family house, when you go to a true shrine, what gives authenticity and voice to every altar is the amount of blood that is sacrificed on the altar. Where there is no blood, that is why when you read the Bible, there are three things you will see. You will see altar. And when you see altar, you will see sacrifice. And when you see sacrifice, you see blood.